Welcome back to another edition of Virtual DJ Tips. Today we're going to look at audio profiles and how to quickly switch in between different profiles and different setups. So first thing we need to do is go to our settings menu, and the first tab, the audio tab, is our default audio setup, which always shows up without anything connected as the master output, which will be your onboard sound card in stereo channels. So this is obviously the default setup, but what if we wanted to use something different? So for example, maybe we use the internal sound card, but we want to use a stereo to mono splitter. So we need to separate those channels to mono. The left and right channels need to be unpaired, send mono to the master output and mono to the headphones. So we can click on the stereo to mono splitter. And that automatically configures masters as channel 1 mono and headphones to channel 2 mono. But what if we wanted something different? Maybe we're doing this at home with some stereo monitors, some headphones, and we want to do some sort of microphone over top, maybe like a home broadcasting setup. So we can add the microphone just by hitting a drop-down menu, select mic, and just pick your onboard sound card. It will automatically configure the channels that are available. Now we want to save this profile. So if we go down to the bottom box here in the lower right hand corner and we click on it, and we just type in, we'll call it home recording, and click save, that profile is now automatically saved. So that's something that we can always go back to. Another instance, maybe we are going out into the field and we're using the master output from our computer or laptop, just the headphone jack to go out to the master output. And we're going to use a small USB sound card to monitor our headphones. So in this case, we can use 2 cards. And we're going to select a headphone channel. And you can already see I have a generic USB audio device. Now that is the 3D sound card. So if we wanted to save that, we'll call this USB sound card. And just click the little save icon. Now if we hit the drop-down menu, we have our configuration saved that we can easily go back to. So we can click on home recording, and it goes back to that original configuration that we had with the stereo mono splitter with the microphone input. Now this is really handy for guys that are doing clubs, weddings, different venues with different setups all the time. A lot of guys are using multiple controllers. Some guys are using additional routing features. So for example, maybe we had a controller hooked up. And if we did have a controller hooked up, the icon generally will show up here if the audio configuration is available. But sometimes clicking on that controller is not enough. So for example here, maybe we'll use a complex setup. We'll hit the drop down and we want to route our sampler out a specific channel. Maybe we'll say channels 3 and 4. And we're going to use a booth output out of 1 and 2. Now this is obviously not a correct setup, but it gives you the master, headphones, sampler, and booth, and whatever else you want to configure, you can type in the bottom. We'll call this the complex profile. We'll click save. If you hit your drop down again, you can go back to any one of your configurations. Now there's no limit to the number of configurations. We go back to home recording, click on it. It goes back to that default that we created with the stereo to mono splitter and adding the microphone. So this is a quick and easy way to change your audio profiles depending on what you're doing. Feel free to leave in the comments below how you would use the audio profiles, or if you're already doing so, what are you using them for? Also feel free to give it a like, share with a friend that might need it, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Until next time, keep your head in the mix.